Twisted Christian. Today I'm going to be discussing several things, giving updates on Iraq, on what's going on with the central banks, and also I'm going to be explaining this whole thing about the gold-backed currency. I'm also going to be talking about China's digital currency too as well. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank you guys for your support. There's the PayPal and the Patreon link is down below as we sit and we watch and we wait to see how these things unfold. Now, the first thing I want to get into, because I've discussed this before, and before we go into anything else, is I know what the gold standard is. I get tons of comments saying, "Oh, the gold standard means of excellence." Well, I understand that. If you want to run a gold standard in your restaurant business, it's going to be to the excellent standards. Any other industry except for currency, the gold standard is the excellence of currency. I understand that. And I have shared video after video about gold-backed currency. I'm not talking about the gold standard. I'm talking about gold-backed currency. All right, I've showed you article after article from the central banks. I've showed you from the Trump. I've showed you from many different articles and what's going on around the world. I've showed you China has told its citizens to prepare for the United States to go to a gold-backed currency. And I've always said before that when a currency, what's coming up in the future, in my opinion, is that when they do go to a gold-backed system, it's going to include gold, but it is going to include other things if that's the route that this whole thing goes. All right, so I know what I'm talking about as far as that. There were currencies backed by gold back in the past and other things, and they took it off they took off the gold standard in 1971. I've showed that video. So when I tell you guys that when I say the gold standard, I'm talking about in currency, which means gold will be included if I say the gold standard in currency, because without gold in a fiat system, it's still a fiat system. Some people made some comments like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you can't have a gold standard in a currency. Now, and I've heard Currency 365, and I kind of want to respond to that about, like, we have this global reset, and then we have the revaluation of the dinars. And I'm pretty confident that other currencies will go after the dinar. And what I'm going to say is this, is with the introduction of digital currency from the central banks, could very well bring about these currency explosions, separate from the global currency reset. Now, there's many different theories, and I have different theories, and I told you guys that I was leaning on that the dinar is a single event. And I've also said that in the past that there will be other currencies that will follow. Now, how it goes all about doing that remains to be seen. Because you have to understand that the central banking system is in trouble. It's in huge trouble. And all those people and all those politicians who promoted the central bank, they knew what the central bank was doing, and they put this world in debt. So they got to deal with the debt first. In order for all these things to take place, I mean, as far as going to any kind of global reset, maybe that's what the revaluation of the dinar is. It could be something that deals with dealing with the debt first. Now, the global currency reset could be different from the currencies going to a gold-backed standard, right? Could it be different events? Could it be an event? Because we always talk about a crash. We talk about a crash. The economy right now is doing pretty good, at least here in the United States. Other places, it's suffering. But we talk about a crash. Well, is the crash going to happen before the dinar? Is it going to happen after the dinar? Is it going to happen? Are the central banks going to try to strike back and say, hey, we're going to release all these digital currencies and the value is going to go up and all this and all that? I see many different scenarios, and I have to look at each of the different scenarios that could happen. Because if the whole event, if the central banks called it a global currency reset by adding digital currency, and then the stock market crashes, and then we go to a gold-backed currency. I hope you guys understand exactly what I'm saying, because either the global currency reset is either going to be backed by some type of it's going to have to be some new system. If all these currencies are going to go up, then obviously it's going to be it has to be some type of new system. And if it's not, maybe the gold back system is what's actually going to destroy the central banking system. We got all these central banks. They've been working behind the scenes, and they've been trying to get rid of cryptocurrencies and trying to get cryptocurrencies banned and everything else, because they're going to do the same thing. They are doing the same thing. Trying to figure out. I have a lot of theories. My main theory is this, right? It's just that when a global currency reset happens, that's when the dinar and all these other currencies, they take off, whether it's gold back or not, or maybe some type of new system. And there are different theories on that particular system. So it all remains to be seen. And maybe in another video I can really show it and show you some of all the different theories of how these different currencies are going to go first. Some people talked about the Thai baht going first. Then you have the dinar, and then you have Vietnamese dong. And my thing is this. As I look at all the other currencies and all the other investments, when we talk about the global currency reset, the dinar is still the best investment. And I'm just going to tell you guys, any kind of investment is going to be a risky investment, right? Stocks, bonds, investing into your own businesses. There's many different things that could cause some type of issue that you could lose your investment. Now, one of the things that I'm focused on is what Kim Clement is actually saying. Now, there are specifically two things that I'm just going to mention, and that's the BBB stock, and that's the dinar. Right now, Kim Clement has been right about so many things. So those would be the things that I would be looking at. Now, is it possible that other currencies will go before the dinar? It's very possible. Maybe you want to throw a little bit of cash at the Thai baht or the Vietnamese dong, but I wouldn't do too much because, like I said, the IQD is still the best value. Now, what's going on in Iraq right now? It's just a really bad situation. It's so sad. I don't even want to even really sit there and look at the news and report it, because it's just an utter chaos. It's literally an utter chaos, and they don't know what they're doing. So when I look at the protests, and they're supposed to be coming to an agreement to stop the protest, it's all a sham to get people to go home, because there's not going to be real change until the corrupt are removed. And the current president, in order for this to take place, is going to have to be replaced. He's going to have to be replaced by a body. That's my opinion. All right, so this first thing I'm going to get into, it came out a couple days ago that Tanzania Central Bank was launching the e-dinar. Now, I discussed this early on when I first started this YouTube channel over a year ago. They said they were working on it. They made an announcement that they're working on a cryptocurrency that they want to release, for the people. Now they turn around and say that they're not doing it. Well, see, that's why they said China, all these central banks have denied that they were working on a cryptocurrency, and then all of a sudden they come out with a cryptocurrency. All right. So maybe this is their way to go to a new system that doesn't have anything to do necessarily with a gold back reset or maybe people will call, if they go to this cryptocurrency and they change all the stuff, and maybe they'll call it the global currency reset. But they're all working on it, just like Facebook and what they did, right? They banned cryptos. They were blocking people from making posts about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. They were doing a lot of that. And then they turned around only to find out that they were working on their own. So I can point to you article after article after article after article about central banks saying that cryptocurrency is bad, that we're not working on anything, and then they are. They actually, in another video that I discussed, they actually used one central bank as a test and they're just sitting back and waiting to see what the results were and all the information about it and all that. So I don't know if this system is going to work. And the reason why, and people say, well, you're kind of all over the place. I have many different theories, and I want to be prepared for each one. Because you don't want to be in a position where the dinar changes in value and then the stock markets crash, right? You guys don't want to be in that position to where, well, heck, I might lose everything if or I might lose a lot. So we have to look at all this from all these different angles. Now, as far as the dreams, I've only seen I've did a lot of research on people dreaming about the dinar and about the dinar revaluation. I've seen very few on any global currency reset. Now I've been trying to find them and find them and try to put all the pieces together, but they're kind of just scattered all over the place, and on YouTube and on websites and stuff like that. So I would like to, if you guys have a video, or Johnny from 365, if you have a video, if you have any videos, please either email me, send them to me on my Patreon, or post the links down below so I can look more into this. Because I want you guys to be prepared. I don't want you guys to be in a position to where you end up losing things later on. Right? Because they want to remove the President of the United States, and they will do anything to do that. So if the central banking system was planning to revalue currencies and then turn around and try to crash the economy, I don't know. So you guys, want to be prepared. I want you guys to be prepared. So here's this article. Former Fed Chair Alan Greenspan says there's no point for central banks to pivot to digital currency. He didn't. I read this article, and I guess there's. I mean, in a way, I mean, if you look at how our payment system, and maybe the banks know something that we don't, or how they, maybe it has to do with trading, the countries that do trade, border trading and stuff like that. I guess they're saying that it's going to be easier. But he didn't really give a reason. He just said there's really no reason to do it. And also here it says, Greenspan's outlook is at odds with some current Fed officials. Philadelphia Federal Reserve Patrick Harker called digital currencies inevitable on October 2nd, adding that the U.S. should wait for other nations to adopt such a technology. So what he's saying is, we're going to wait till all these other countries start using the cryptocurrency technology, right? When all these other central banks start going to, central bank digital currencies, then the United States will go. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of confusion. All right, now the other thing I want to talk about with China is China's secret weapon against USD is a gold-backed cryptocurrency, according to Max Kaiser. And he says the dollar is toast after this comes out. Okay, China's big move for the 21st century is to pull a trapdoor on the U.S. by launching a gold-backed cryptocurrency that would devalue the U.S. dollar to zero, according to Max Kaiser, host of the Kaiser Report. China is rolling out a cryptocurrency. A lot of the details have not been divulged. I can tell you that the cryptocurrency that China is rolling out will be backed by gold. It's a two-pronged announcement. Number one, China's got 20,000 tons of gold. Number two, we're rolling out a crypto coin backed by gold, and the dollar is toast. Kaiser added that Bitcoin is a superior form of currency to gold. Now, as far as, I don't know if he's got his numbers right or not, but we're going to look that up. It says China's got 20,000 tons of gold. I'll have to look that up here real quick after I read this. Both fiat money and gold are inferior to Bitcoin for one very simple reason, that with Bitcoin transaction, it is also simultaneously the settlement. You don't have that with fiat. You don't have that with gold. All right, so before I even get into this, I'm going to look up China's gold reserves. Because if they have 20,000 tons of gold, then that means they would have more gold than the United States. Okay, now, he just said in that article that China had 20,000 tons of gold. And according to this, the World Official Gold Holdings of October 2019, it's 1,942 tons of gold. The United States has 8,000 tons of gold. So according to this, China has 1,942.4 tons of gold. The United States has 8,133 tons of gold. All right, so going back to this article, it says China's got 20,000 tons of gold. Now that's why you guys, when you guys are doing research, you gotta be careful and kind of read into what they're saying and analyze. And so I'm not sure if he knows what he's talking about. Maybe he just loves cryptocurrency so much that he's willing to make up some numbers out there. Or they really do have 20,000 tons of gold, but they're not reporting they have 20,000 tons of gold. It wouldn't surprise me coming from China that they would hide any gold purchases, because they want to prepare for some type of gold-backed currency, cryptocurrency. Here we go again. He says it again. China's DCEP cryptocurrency will be gold-backed. Kaiser continued noting that the signals from the U.S. repo markets are indicating that a financial catastrophe is looming and China could open a trap door on the dollar. He added that China is about to announce that it has amassed as much as 20,000 tons of gold. Okay, so now he's saying is they're getting ready to announce they have 20,000 tons of gold. All right, so is that true? Does China have 20,000 tons of gold? And if they have 20,000 tons of gold, well, they like to keep their currency pretty low anyway. So the only reason why they would come back with the gold-backed currency, if they really wanted to destroy the dollar, that means, it would be literally an attack, an economic attack. But why would they do that? Because their economy depends on our economy. So if our economy crashes, what do you think is going to? Oh, okay. So now their currency is gold back, or the cryptocurrency is gold back. Then what? Something to me just I'm still trying to process all this. So we'll just wait and see. I'll just keep looking into this. I find this article interesting because it kind of gives an insight more. He said that they will announce, China will announce that they have that much gold. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the United States is buying gold, but they're not saying anything. And maybe this is what we need for the economy to crash and then everything to change. And when I look at all these investments and I look at what's coming with the global, whether you call it the global currency reset or the revaluation or anything to do with gold-backed currency changes, when I look at all of this, no matter what, no matter how it happens, it's all going to work out. No matter what. It's all going to work out for the investments that you have. All right, just kind of see what's going on with the Zimbabwe. I'm just going to read some headlines. Zimbabwe will have more cash to feed black market for currency. Yeah, of course, more corruption. Zimbabwe rolls out lower denomination money to ease cash shortage. New Zimbabwe banknotes fail to arrive. Zimbabwe introduces new currency, but here's why it won't help. Zimbabwe government must rein in Forex dealers. And here's that article that I discussed in one of my other videos about the gold-backed currency. This guy, he works with the Zimbabwe coin printing and says that they're ready and is willing to discuss about getting the gold-backed Zimbabwe currency off the ground. The company that he has is a subsidiary of the Zimbabwe Central Bank, which I have found very interesting. Where's the money? Zimbabwe's new banknotes fail to arrive. Banks say there's no communication from central bank on fresh tender intended to ease cash crunch and combat inflation. Like I said, it was just like Iran when they were launching a new currency, and then you got Zimbabwe launching. It's not in the current climate that we're in the current system that we're in, to launch a brand new currency. The currency over there, it's just like the Iran, I think it was the Toman, and then you have, now you have Zimbabwe thinking that if they introduce this money, it's going to help. And I don't really think it's going to, unless there is a change to the system, this is not going to help. This is not going to help at all. As long as you have trillions of dollars of world debt, and you have countries that are literally in the trillions of debt, and you have other countries that are billions of dollars in debt to the central banking system and to the banks. As long as you have that, you can make as many new currencies as you want to. It's not going to change. So all this remains to be seen. I'm not going to buy any new Zimbabwe notes right now. I'm not even sure if they're even available. It might be a couple weeks or so. But like I said, I still say that IQD is still the best investment. There's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of different currencies here and there, but I still think that IQD. Now, what I look for right now, all I'm looking for is just a sudden change in Iraq. I'm looking for a change in leadership. And if they have to hold elections and all that stuff, you guys know, I mean, it could happen. It could be the break in the system before the elections. But I look at the prophetic, and I look at visions and stuff like that, and I try to put all the pieces together. We're still going to be going on with this for the next 3 or 4 months. And whoever is elected, even if it's a body, don't think on the first day, the first week, or the first month, he's just going to go in there and pull the trigger. Don't get your hopes up for that if that happens. But now we're going to have to suffer, possibly, through another Iraq election. Anyways, guys, I thank you guys for your support. Please give a like, a share, and comment, and tell me your thoughts. And with that being said, Twisha Christian out.